I think you can never know too much, do you know what I mean? And also I could sit at home reading comics and say I was working, so it was great. But yeah, I read, what have I read? I read some of the real early Time Master stuff, which is like, we're going to go and kill some dinosaurs. It's very action-adventure-y. And then, what was the other Vanishing Point story, which I thought, that's my favourite one. I think it's great with Superman and Brewster Gold. That's a really interesting relationship. But yeah, as you say, what they've done is taken that and taken who he has been, but he's kind of been various different things in the history of DC, and then turned it into something new, with kind of paying homage to the past. But he's a fascinating character. He's got a lot of secrets and a lot of stuff that he doesn't want to let on, and a lot of stuff he can't say because of the nature of his work, because he's a time-travelling man who is keeping the course of history straight. And he's had a lot of stuff happen to him. What's great about the way they write, and I think they found such a great balance with this show, is that it does get very dark and serious, but there's also a real lightness of touch to it as well. So it's also very, very funny as a show, and it's been really interesting finding the balance of those two. There's going to be obvious comparisons, being an Englishman in a long coat who travels through time. I went into this, I'm not going to go, no, it's completely different. There are obvious similarities, but I hope that they'll enjoy that. I'm fascinated by time travel as a concept. Rip is very, very different to the Doctor. The reason I've lost my voice, I spent the last 2 days fighting, which is not something that the Doctor does very much of, and I totally lost my voice. I've just been screaming in a room, punching people. So it's been it's a really interesting new challenge. Do you know what I mean? Like, Heatwave is obviously a tricky character. He's recruited a bunch of maniacs, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're going to really get on. And I don't think he's thought his plan through that far. He's like, we need to do this. These are the people that can do it. Let's get them and go. I think he hasn't quite thought, are we going to get on when we're, making coffee in the morning to get, that's not really been a consideration. And he doesn't need to get on with them, actually. He just needs them to do the job in hand. And I think he kind of underestimates quite the challenge that he's set himself. It's so great being part of an ensemble like this. The way I like to describe it is, I don't know what you guys did when you were kids, but when I was a kid I had like my He-Man figures and my Thundercats and my Ghostbusters and my Visionaries, and the best days I ever had were putting all of them together and making all the goodies fight all the baddies, and this show feels very much like that. It's like everyone's got such individual personalities and their own thing. It's quite an amazing thing to be part of. And then they sent me a shit ton of comics to read, which was great. It was like, there's a massive box in my house, what is this? And they sent me loads of comics. So, yeah, it's been really interesting to explore that and call it work.
Can you talk about how you prepare for the physicality of the part? Like you talked about the fighting.
Yeah.
Like that.
I think I should have prepared more. No. I've done some light training, let's say, some kind of martial arts stuff, and I just want to know how to throw a punch and not look like I look when I throw a punch, just like a kind of gangly child. So yeah, it's been a really interesting challenge. Like, I'm definitely heir to the lover side of the two as a person. So it's quite nice to play someone. It's been a real challenge actually, but in a good way.
Yeah, I'll see